When we think of Jim Halpert, what comes to mind? A prankster with an eye for dry and sarcastic humour, and his signature look to the camera reminiscent of an eye roll. But there are definitely some questionable, if not unforgivable things that he has yet to apologise for. Here are 7 things, IMO, that Jim Halpert will never be forgiven for, starting with 7. Pushing Michael into a koi pond. I've watched this episode a few times, and yet I can't quite work out the context behind this. Like, I know Michael is an idiot, but Jim is really the bigger one here. This was the beginning of me starting to resent Jim for his smugness, and I feel like Michael should have humiliated him as payback. But clearly Michael has too much of a kind heart to do that. Surely a boss IRL would fire an employee who deliberately shoved them into a pond. I love that moment when they're watching the security video and Angela talks back to him and he snaps at her. Just shows how much Jim can't stand being told off. 6. Leaving Dunder Mifflin for the Stamford branch, Jim was heartbroken. He wanted a new experience. But if he really wanted a life outside the office, he could have left Dunder Mifflin to follow his dreams instead in sports marketing. It just confuses Pam and the rest of the office. Like, why do you need to move to another branch if you already hate your job? And he left only to return after the branches merged. I mean, nobody could have predicted that. But if he really wanted to leave Dunder Mifflin, having known that the branches were going to merge, he should have quit Dunder Mifflin entirely. 5. Only giving raises to the sales staff as co-manager. Jim's interesting 6-episode arc as co-manager in Season 6 was one to remember, but mostly for the wrong reasons. He causes immense pain by revealing that he will slash raises to the non-sales staff, including Pam. 4. Buying Pam a house without her permission. I'm not against couples buying houses, but Jim buying Pam a house was a bit too fictional to be documentary-worthy. 9 times out of 10, I'm confident that newlyweds would discuss with each other prior to buying their first home. Roy comes nowhere near Jim when it comes to selfishness. I bet Roy would wait until Pam was ready to buy a house, as much as Roy has his faults. Especially if there was a really strange clown painting hanging on the wall that couldn't be taken off. 3. Taking a new job in Philly without telling Pam. Now, we already saw it when Jim bought Pam a house without telling her, so he clearly means it when it comes to keeping unnecessary secrets. He apologises for his actions only to repeat them again. We see this in Season 9, the final season, when Jim takes a leap of faith, putting his family life in jeopardy when he sneakily takes a job at a sports marketing company in Philadelphia, understandably hurting Pam and making this one of the worst scars that Jim has inflicted Pam in the show. As Pam is now a mother and puts her dreams aside to work at Dunder Mifflin, whilst Jim selfishly follows his. Not a good look. 2. Not attending Pam's art show. This was a huge blow for me watching this episode because as an artist myself, I strongly appreciated the writer's approach to add an arty character, Pam. But what broke my heart was the fact that Jim never showed up. He didn't have to bring Karen if she wasn't keen on going, but it just seems like a douchebag move knowing that she had an art show and not bothering to attend. Despite them not being together, Jim and Pam were still friends at the time, right? So we thought. Season 3 was very depressing because of this, and I think it's one of the best seasons in the entire show. It sounds weird to like a season, but I do think this was the beginning of people starting to see the greatness of The Office. 1. Kissing Pam. You're probably rolling your eyes at this point, and I get it. Kissing Pam, wow, big deal, led to the best storylines on television, and I agree. Jim and Pam's relationship is one few sitcoms can replicate, so natural and ordinary and something day-to-day couples can actually relate to. There's been a lot of debate as to who kissed who first. I was watching one video and the guy said that Pam kissed Jim first based on what she told Roy. But Jim still went in for the kiss, you know. He could have said the 4-letter word starting with S, stop, and then Pam would have muttered a sorry, and then Pam lived happily ever after with Roy. Just kidding. Had Jim told Pam during those awkward moments on the booze cruise, Pam would have told Roy, who probably excused himself to throw up, only to return saying it was fine, he always liked Angela anyway. The end, everybody's happy. If only it were that easy.